been a while since I've done a car mukbang vid. I don't know if I'm gonna post this. We'll see. Bro, I was so fucking hungry. And I just had to eat. And the first thing that came to my mind was McDonald's, which is surprising because normally I call it McDick's. McDick's! I've also heard McDanks. I think McDick's is more descriptive. You know, my grandfather, one of my grandfathers, he was always really proud to admit that he never went to a McDonald's in his life. Never ate at a McDonald's in his life. And he died in 2012. So, you know, not that long ago. Are you like your grandparents? I'm asking you, are you like them? Tell me in the comments. I think I'm a lot like. Don't worry, you guys. I got more. I got chicken nuggets also. I think I'm very much like him. The one that never went to McDonald's. Obviously, I go to McDonald's. I don't remember the last time I had McDonald's though. I took someone else to McDonald's like a couple months ago, but I didn't get anything. And he got a fucking not diet drink. I was like, not diet soda. I was like, ew. But hey, I'm eating the McDicks myself, so who am I to talk? That granddad of mine, he was very opinionated, pretty serious. He's also an alcoholic, which I am not. I also loved dogs. Like, definitely more than people. Both my granddads actually really loved dogs. My other granddad, he bred dogs. He bred hunting dogs. He bred pointers at one point and English setters. We had an English setter when I was growing up, but she was a runt, so she wasn't quite like other English setters. I think I'm like my Nana too. My granddad, who hadn't been to McDonald's, his wife, I think she and I were like, you know what? I actually look like her the most. Out of all my family members, she and I think, look the most alike. I got these freaking... Sorry, that was gross. Tiny ass eyes, though. That's because I'm Norwegian. I wish I could have gone hunting with my granddad. I I kind of want to learn to hunt for deer. He didn't hunt for deer, though. He hunted for different types of birds. I was listening to Coast to Coast Radio. I will link it below. Last night. It was really interesting. I almost called it Art Bell. It's not Art Bell. It's his former station, channel. I have been off the coffee lately, you guys. I really have. But I was up super late last night, and I would 100% go home and crash and sleep for like 6 hours if I didn't drink this. And then I would be up until 3 o'clock again. So hopefully this coffee is going to help me out. My Nana, she was like she was a churchgoer, but she wasn't, you know, fucking evangelical, okay? But she said, you know, it's good to go to church because usually there are people who are worse off than you at church. And it often reminds you how fortunate you are. So that's a great reason to go to church. My granddad. I talk shit about smoking all the time in my vids, okay? I do. All the time. He smoked cigarettes a lot. He smoked Newports. What is that? What's that added chemical? Oh my god, it's gonna make me mad. I can't remember it. Fuck. There's an added chemical in it. Oh my god. I can't look it up on my phone. Rough. Menthol. He smoked menthol light Newport cigarettes. I think he smoked Marbs too. He wasn't really terribly picky, but he did like the cigarettes. One time, a friend of mine and I had a Day of the Dead celebration, and she was like, oh, you know, you gotta, like, we need to have foods that the dead people in your life ate while they were alive, that they liked while they were alive. And, like, I didn't even fucking know what kind of food my granddad ate, really, because he didn't eat a lot. He smoked a lot of cigarettes, though. He would like, for breakfast, he would have like a glass of orange juice and a breakfast cigarette. I was gonna say something else about smoking. Oh shit, I gotta ask my dad. But lately, this is bad, because this is bad for you. Okay, fizzy drinks of any kind, even like the not flavored ones, not sugary ones, they're still bad for you. I've been fucking getting into tonic water, dude. Tonic water with quinine. Oh my god, it's so good. I just randomly stumbled upon it at the store like 3 months ago, and now I'm hooked. I try not to drink it too much though, but she'd been drinking it too much. I think that's what my granddad drank. I think he drank. Was there spit there? Sorry! I think he drank gin and tonic. I think that was his drink of choice at times. He would go through a carton of cigarettes every 11 days. I think I did the math one time. I think that's 128 cigarettes. What the fuck? I actually smoked cigarettes for a little bit, you guys. Okay? I said it. I said it on camera. You have it now. Enjoy. I was never fully addicted. But I was towing the line when I was like 20. I was really, really towing that line. And eventually I was just like, I'm not going to do this. This is dumb. Cigarettes are gross. I don't want to be addicted to this shit, so I stopped. Food fell out of my mouth. Gross. I like being gross on camera. I don't know if you guys noticed that. But I do. I don't know, dude. Sometimes, like, the best ideas come to me when I haven't showered. Sometimes, like, I just gotta make a video, you know, when I'm not looking perfect. I'm trying to think of anything else I want to say about my grandparents. My grandma, my Nana. Oh, I was going to say about my granddad, though, even though he smoked cigarettes, he lived to be 86, which is pretty old. My grandma went to Stanford in the 40s, and she graduated with a bunch of men. She was a trailblazer. I don't want to cry. She was a trailblazer like me. Sorry, I completely dropped the ball however long ago. I was saying I was listening to a Coast to Coast radio show last night, and then I just went off on some other tangent. A woman called in, and she was saying, like, you know, I'm physically fit, and I think she said she was 85. She was like, I'm 85, but I feel like I've kind of hit a wall. And the spiritual guy talking to her was like, you have so much to offer still, even though you're older. Like, don't think you don't have anything to offer because you're older, because you do. And he's right. And he was saying how, like, both of the guys on the radio show were talking about how, excuse me, we don't treat old folks well anymore. We used to, but now we don't. Which is pretty upsetting and sad and wrong. It's wrong. Oh, let me tell you a story about my other grandma. So this was in this area, come to think of it, this general area of Portland. And this would have been in the 60s. Yeah, this is in the 60s. Some pervert was running around the neighborhoods. Okay, running around the residential neighborhoods. And he was actually exposing himself to children from his car. Like, he would ask a kid over to his car and be like, oh, like, do you know where this street is or whatever? And then the kid would come up to the window and he would expose himself. And my grandma found out about that. She was so livid. I didn't learn this until I was older, but she was so livid about this that she put on, I think she could fit into her oldest daughter's clothes. Her oldest daughter was like 14 at the time, so, and she put her hair in pigtails. My grandma was like 5'2", so she was really short. And she went like skipping around the neighborhood trying to find this pervert, like hoping that the pervert would like ask her for directions or something, and so she could be like, get the fuck out of my neighborhood. That's also something I would do. I don't think she found him though. But gross. I'm trying to think of anything else I can say about my grandparents. I haven't even talked about my other granddad. He was real cool. He was actually born legitimately not one full month before men voted to give women the right to vote in the United States. It's a long time ago. Actually, when he was a teenager, you guys can look up videos of this now extinct animal. It's called a thylacine. It's related to the Tasmanian devil. It's a marsupial. You can look up videos of it. There are videos of it on YouTube last I checked. Unfortunately, those went extinct when my granddad was a teenager. My granddad also was a soldier in World War II, and he killed Nazis. So you're looking at American royalty, baby. It me. Not only that, but he was so good at shooting that the army made him an instructor. So he probably taught whoever else also how to kill Nazis. I'm being serious about this, and I started thinking this when I saw the movie Benjamin Button. Brad Pitt looks a lot like that granddad of mine. They look alike. They were actually the same height. Brad Pitt is actually the same height as my granddad was. They looked alike a little bit, but they just kind of have a similar demeanor and similar vibe about them. So I've never found, I mean, Brad Pitt, he's a good looking guy, but I've never been like, oh, Brad Pitt, he's so hot. Probably because he looks like my granddad. I really wasn't planning on talking about my grandparents so much in this vid, but here we are. And I can talk about them because they're no longer with us. You know, my grandparents made a lot of mistakes, obviously, with their kids, but they did the best they could. And I think the whole point of human evolution and having kids is that so if you are a parent, I feel like your job as a parent is to give your child or children a better life than you had, better parenting than you had. And then hopefully one day that child grows up, should he or she decide to have children, then that child gives his or her children a better life and better parenting than they had, etc. And you just keep going until we get damn near perfection. Both my granddads really loved nature, and I really love nature. Both my grandmoms could knit. My grandmom taught me how to knit. I've never forgotten that. I'm pretty fucking good at knitting, y'all, and my grandma taught me how. I couldn't. The thing is, though, is when I learned, I wasn't into it. I could do it. I was 8. I was physically able to do it, and I did a couple lines, and I was like, okay, cool, I've done it. And then I didn't care about it, and I forgot about it. And then I started knitting again when I was 14. But it was super helpful because that time when I relearned how to knit, I remembered the action from when I was a kid, and my grandma taught me. What have your grandparents taught you? What did they teach you? What did they show you? How did you spend time with them? It's fun to talk about. It's fun to remember them, you know, even when they're no longer with us. Because they still care. They still care about you. They still care about your family. They still care about the things you love. I'm trying to get a dramatic shot of my tear. Mission accomplished. I don't really recommend McDicks, though. Putting that out there.